Some ancient samurai wisdom for you. In Musashi Miyamoto's Dokkodo, translates to the way of being alone or the path to be alone, one of the 21 rules is do not complain. It is appropriate neither for yourself nor anybody else. However, is this true? Should you never complain? The answer is essentially no, but also yes, if you're based enough. So let me tell you a story. I believe I haven't spoken a lot about my current job. Basically, I'm working as an at-home aide for this patient who needs someone to help him with his activities of daily living. So this job has been very mentally taxing on my mind at times and very challenging. Challenge is good, but for the reason being, I don't like the patient. I don't find him pleasant at all. I don't like him at all. I don't like being around him. These feelings were building up and building up and building up and building up. And part of the thing is that, like, because he's disabled, I felt really bad feeling like this negatively about him. I felt like I shouldn't feel this way about him. I should be more sympathetic. And like, I was reading some books on self-improvement and religion, Buddhism, on like to try to get a better attitude towards him, and it definitely helped. And I remembered all the stuff from Stoicism and like self-improvement to try to change my thought patterns, and it helped. I got better. But the fact of the matter is, it was still very vexing. Until one day, I spoke about it with my mom. Not in detail, I only spoke about it very briefly. I went over the most important parts with her, and she talked to me. She sat me down and like, she had a talk with me about what she thought I should do, how she thought I should be that would help. And it helped. It really helped. She didn't really teach me anything new, so to speak. Like, everything she told me, I had already thought before. But just hearing it from a different person expressed in a different way, in their way, just hearing it from an external source really helped. And that day, the work was much better. Like, the work hadn't changed at all, but that day I felt not nearly as vexed about it. Unfortunately, it only lasted about a few days until it went back to feeling the way it felt, but it helped temporarily. And then, a few weeks later, I talked to someone else about it. This time I talked to my friend who also works at the job on different shifts. I talked to him about it because he's worked there for years, so obviously he's gone through the same exact things I've gone through, so I can ask him questions like, how did he deal with this? How has he dealt with that? All that sort of stuff. So I talked with him about it. I air my grievances to him, and it makes me feel much better. And the next day I go to work, it's so much better. Now, it only lasted a day. The next day went back to being normal. But what I'm saying is, it helped. Like, airing out my grievances, and not just that, also being constructive. Like, my parents told me what they thought I should have done. Well, my mom, not my dad. I also asked my friend. I didn't just complain to my friend. I also asked him, how do you deal with this? What do you think about this? Yada, yada, yada. We went back and forth. And it really, really helps get some pressure off. So, when should you, like, air your grievances? Because the thing is, you don't want to be a little wuss and complain all the time, because no one likes that. If you think about, like, no one likes the ungrateful people. You know the movie Shawshank Redemption? You remember that police officer who his brother dies and leaves him a lot of money, and then the other police officers are like, oh, that's great. And he's like, oh yeah, but then the government takes out a lot from taxes, and then maybe I got enough to buy a car, and then what? Then the wife and kids nagging me to take them places. He's completely ungrateful for the things he's given. If you want a character to be unlikable, always make them ungrateful in a book or movie. No one likes an ungrateful person, and if you complain, it makes you sound ungrateful. So you definitely shouldn't be complaining all the time, but there is a time and place to air your grievances. As for when you should air your grievances, that'll be in the next video. I could tell you about it now, but I don't like to make these videos like much over 5 minutes. So this will be part 1. Part 2, where I tell you where to air your grievances and how, will be the next video. Peace.